Hello there. I'm still pretty much out of action, so I've not been able to get out and about as much as I'd like, but given that the internet exists, and I've been out once or twice for short distances, I've still got quite a few pickups, so I may as well get on with them now. So, some of you may have noticed in my last video I bought Hook for the SNES. In my excitement to get it, I didn't look as closely at it as I probably should have done, and I bought the NTSC version. I don't have an NTSC console at all. So I decided for my first pickup for the last couple of weeks to get myself this, which is an NTSC to PAL converter. I think the idea is you put like a PAL cartridge in one slot and you put an NTSC one in the other one, and it like bypasses the copy protection and allows you to play it. I know it does something with frame rates and stuff, but at least I can play it, and it does open the door for me to kind of buy more NTSC if price fits with it, so that helps me in a way going forwards. But after that, I had about a week where I was really into watching videos and documentaries about Clive Sinclair and the ZX Spectrum and Sinclair computers in general. The first one that I started watching is a show called Micromen that was on the BBC about 17 years ago. It's got Alexander Armstrong as Clive Sinclair and Martin Freeman as Chris Curry from Acorn, and it's just a dramatisation of the rivalry between Sinclair and Acorn. From that, I started watching a few other documentaries, and then the internet, in the way that it does, recommended something to me. So I ended up deciding to get myself the Spectrum. Now, I know I've got an actual ZX Spectrum in the garage, but it takes a while for me to get everything loaded up and to actually play anything on it. So I just thought this would be a nice way for me to literally just plug it into my monitor here and get to play the games. I've not got around to playing any of the games on it yet. But at least it's a nice modern way to play those older games that I've never played before. So that's one I'm very happy to have, and that will be staying upstairs and will be getting played at some point. So while I was waiting for that to arrive, again, I was in the mood to play games from that era, and a few years ago I bought myself the C64 Mini, which has got as far as coming out of its box, and again, hasn't been played on. I was dipping into a few games, and there were a couple that I really wanted to play, and I know that you can download ROMs to add to it, but that goes beyond my technical capabilities. So I mentioned it in a Discord, and Carlos made a recommendation to me, and he made the recommendation, and almost straight away I've made a purchase, and that is this C64 dongle with a load of games already preloaded on it. The ones I'm most looking forward to playing on it, again, I've not got around to testing it yet because I just haven't, but I'm looking forward to playing Labyrinth on there, the old, I think it was the first point and click LucasArts game with a text parser, but I've wanted to play that for quite a while, and I know for certain that it's on there, so I'm really looking forward to giving that one a go. But the rest of the pickups that I've got from the last week or so are mainly games based on movies, except for this one. So, as you know, I've got the Atari ST and stuff all over there. But one game that I remember playing a lot when I was younger, that I was awful at, I think everyone who's ever played it is awful at it, is Rockstar Ate My Hamster. And it's literally just a case of you are trying to start a rock band, or a pop band, whatever kind of band it is, and you get them to practice, play gigs, record stuff, release stuff, and you basically have a year to try and get to a point where you've got, I think it's 4 gold records by the end of the year. I don't think I've ever got further than May, and in the go that I've had on this one, I didn't get as far as March. But you kind of pick your artists based on joke versions of pop stars from back then. So you get like fake Lemmy plus a fake Jason Donovan and a fake Morrissey, and build them together, and you try and progress as well as you can. But again, I'm awful at it, but I still love that game so much. But like, you can do publicity stunts to kind of drive your sales and stuff in it, but there's always a very good chance that those publicity stunts will result in one of your band dying in a freak accident. So there's so many ways, whether it's that or running out of money and stuff like that, that can completely derail your game. But it's a fantastic game, and if you get the chance to play it, I think there's many ways that you can play it for free online. Please give it a go, because it's fantastic. I said last week when I bought the NES that I wasn't going to go over the top with buying NES games. I've not gone over the top, but I did nip into Norwich the other day. I went to Last Level, which is open again, thankfully, and I found a movie-based game based on a movie that I love for the NES, and that is Gremlins 2: The New Batch. I think it's pretty much just a standard platformer where you have weapons like a bow that fires flaming matches and stuff while you control Gizmo. But it's such a good film that doesn't get the credit it deserves, mainly because it was reviewed so badly at the time. But it was just a lot of like the meta references it makes during the film. They did meta before meta was a thing. So there's like a scene where characters are just taking the piss out of the Gremlin rules and stuff about, well, what if you're flying and you go over time zones? What happens in terms of eating after midnight? Stuff like that. So it's, again, it's a lovely film, and it just expands on Gremlins. I think there's a Gremlins 3 in the works at the moment, so I'm very much looking forward to seeing what they do with that. Sticking with the movie theme, I have picked up one Mega Drive game this week. Actually, no, I've got all of the movie-based games for the Mega Drive, but I saw Spot Goes to Hollywood and thought, yeah, that's getting added. And it's like an isometric 3D platformer, like Sonic 3D, but you've got Spot going through different things like a horror movie, going through an adventure movie, going through pirate movie, going through horror movie. So there's just different genres that you're taking him through. From what I've read on it, it's a bit samey in its gameplay, but it's just a nice little tweak on going for some movie-based games, and it's also another Mega Drive game to add to the collection. This one, though, it's an awful film from what I've heard. I am planning to watch it, despite it being awful. Hopefully it'll be one of those it's so bad it's good movies. But I have bought myself the game adaptation of Catwoman starring Halle Berry. I'm pretty sure she won a Razzie like the year after she won an Oscar for this one. Please correct me if I'm wrong. And again, from what I've read, the film's bad, the game is even worse. So that could be a lot of fun. What have we got here? So these are the latest pickups I've got from the last couple of days. I've kind of slowed down on buying UMDs recently, and that's mainly because over the last year or so, prices of UMDs have gone up a hell of a lot. It used to be like £2 was the most you'd pay for anything but the rarest ones, whereas now it's kind of like £2 is the minimum you're going to pay. But I managed to get these ones for a couple of quid each. This one is a TV series I've heard about. I've seen clips of it, but I've never actually watched an episode of it. I've seen DVDs of it in charity shops for years, and I've never thought I'm going to buy a full DVD. But I have got now 3 episodes of Monkey, which I think is like a semi-comic kung fu series. From, I have no idea how far back, 70s possibly. But I'm looking forward to just seeing what it's like. Is it actually that crap? Or is it going to be entertaining up to a point? And you never know, I may have found something that I'm going to love and want to watch a hell of a lot more of. But this other one is a movie that has been kind of tentatively on the edge of my to watch list since it came out, and I've only realised today that it's been out nearly 20 years. So I'm getting through my backlog and my to-do list just at a kind of semi-glacial speed. And this one has Jack Nicholson in it, got Morgan Freeman in it, and that movie is The Bucket List. And it's literally two old guys meet in a hospital while they're both dying. One of them's rich, one of them isn't, and they decide to write a joint bucket list before they die. It's probably going to be quite a sad one. I reckon they'll probably both die by the end of it, because that's kind of how these things tend to end, isn't it? But it's one that I've wanted to watch for so long, and now I've got it in a format that I'm trying to watch films through at the moment anyway. So I'm happy to have that. But the final games I've got here, I've done a bit of tidying in the garage, so I can actually get to my games at the moment, because it's been tip for ages. And I had an evening with one of my children playing on the original Xbox and Sega Saturn, and he really enjoyed playing things like the original Star Wars Battlefront. I had a bit of time on Simpsons Hit and Run. No, not Hit and Run. Yes, Hit and Run. Which I'm probably going to end up doing a full playthrough of at some point. And I thought, I wonder what movies there are for it. So the first one I've picked up isn't a movie. It was, at the time, an Xbox exclusive. And it's one that I had years ago. I probably played about 20 minutes of it, and then went and found something shiny. So the one I've picked is Oddworld Munch's Odyssey, which again, I haven't said anything for this to be again to. It carries on in the Oddworld universe from Abe's Odyssey and Abe's Exodus, but you do a lot of controlling of Munch, who is a similar creature, but he's in a wheelchair. So it's got some different gameplay mechanics in there. And I think there's a first-person shooter in Oddworld for the Xbox, which is Stranger's Wrath, which that could be an interesting one to go through as well. But now on to the movies. This one is from a very long-running franchise, of which I've only ever seen one film. But I've bought myself Rocky, which, let's see, you step into the ring as Rocky to fight and train your way from unknown fighter to the people's champion, and then to become the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. And it's got various opponents from the various Rocky films. So I've played a few boxing games. None of them have really hooked me other than Ready to Rumble. But I like games based on movies, so I'm going to get it. So we'll see what that one's like in the near future. But the final game that I've got is based on a movie that I remember seeing at the cinema, and it was fantastic at the cinema. And whenever I've watched it since then, it's been less and less good. But the game, we'll see how it is. I've got myself Minority Report, Everybody Runs, which I think is loosely based on the movie, but at the same time, they've added certain gameplay mechanics to it which don't really fit with the theme of the film. So I think this one or Catwoman are probably going to be the worst games that I've picked up this week. But I'm slowly picking up more movie games for other consoles. So I'm just kind of becoming a bit of a movie game guy. So we'll see where that leads me. But that's all the pickups for this one. Thanks for watching if you got this far, and take care. Goodbye.